Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom133.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom133.com. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom133.com.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, whew, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning. Good morning to all you wonderful liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And yes, as I do almost every day, excuse me, I checked again today, and it is still live free or die. It is Thursday. I know some people ask, well, why do you do that, Rod? I don't know. Yeah, Thursday. Didn't they used to do that on Bugs Bunny? I'm a child of the Bugs Bunny era. Before they started chopping them up, when they were still the full 6 minutes in length. And I say all kinds of Bugs Bunny. You know, I say some Bugs Bunny stuff like, you know, just stopping by, George, and I can't say Sylvester, George. And I say that, you know, just in response to some people's, you know, idiocy or just to be funny or something. And they always look at me like I got two heads. Like, what, you've never watched Bugs Bunny? And they always tell me, well, yeah, of course we've watched Bugs Bunny. Like, you don't remember? That's from Bugs. I mean, my favorite character, Looney Tunes character, was Marvin Martian. I used to love delays. In any case, the call-in number here this Thursday is 603-835-3224. Dealing with all kinds of stuff on the personal home front. Dealing with a slight mousel infestation. They're getting rid of them. You have to call a wildlife trapper. You know, I thought because he was wildlife, thought, you know, and looking at his truck, he drives up in this truck, typical kind of, you know, dude, I guess. I think he might be a little bit liberal or something. And, yeah, hey, I don't want to poison these things. How are you going to get rid of them? Oh, trap them. Oh, the live traps, you're going to release them someplace? He goes, no, these traps, they're not going to live. I didn't care. I'm like, good, get rid of them. And this morning I wake up to a water heater that decided to go kaputs. So having to deal with that and the mousing guy and all of this happening all around me every single day. You know, this is the type of crazy stuff that goes on during the week. It never happens during the weekend. When you have all the time in the world, nothing happens or goes wrong in the weekend. Everything is going to happen and go wrong during the week when you're at your busiest. But that's the way life goes. That's the way it seems. It's the way life goes. Not going to complain because, obviously I can afford to take care of all the issues that need to be taken care of, and I'm thankful for that to my God and Father and Savior above. Very happy for that. I'm very fortunate. A lot of people are not so fortunate, and I understand that. Last night, I had a conversation, and I was having a Facebook and Twitter conversation with a few people, too, a few friends. But last night I had a direct conversation with a couple of friends. And to my surprise, now this is how people say, well, geez, all you do is, Rod, is talk to the ultra-conservative. You only have them around you, right? I'm like, no, I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Hollywood liberal. But to my surprise, last night, these two people told me that they were supporting Bernie Sanders. Now, I was kind of shocked. So, but I had to go and ask, well, why Bernie? Don't you like Hillary? They hate Hillary. Now, that's Hillary Clinton's problem. The people who are supporting Bernie can't stand her. Now, unfortunately, if you're trying to get Democrats to vote for you, that's probably kind of bad to have your own people hate you. But be that as it may, I mentioned, well, geez, you liking what Bernie says. What about Donald Trump? Well, everybody's going to go flip out over Donald Trump now. I said, what about Donald Trump? And they both said, no, we don't like Donald Trump. Can't stand Donald Trump. I said, well, some of the stuff that, Donald Trump used to be a Democrat, as some people are pointing out today. But, there are a lot of good, solid, what we call conservative Republicans today that were once Democrats. And, we've had a bunch of Republicans today that were once Democrats, and they're just as liberal as Democrats. But I said, well, some of the things that Donald Trump has supported or is kind of touting and supporting today is almost on the Bernie side. I said, I bet if Donald had a D in front of his name instead of an R, you'd vote for him. And they split. One of them said, no, I just don't like him, period. Kind of like Hillary. Don't like Hillary. The other one said, well, yeah, I might. Proving my fact that people only vote by party. That's idiocy. Never. Just because somebody's got the D before their name or the I before their name, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Linda, I stands for independent, or the R before their name, that is no reason to vote for them. None. Party affiliation is not a reason to vote for it. I cannot stand these people who say, well, I just vote a straight Democratic or a straight Republican ticket. I want to knock the you-know-what out of somebody who says that to me. You don't bother to check the names to see if you recognize the names of the people that you would like to really give your vote to? No, because I'm only voting Republican. What? I want to knock out their teeth and knock some sense into them. I get people that tell me all the time, well, all you do is vote for Republicans. No, I openly admit, I vote for the person and the position. And I have openly stated that I have voted for, in state elections, I have voted for Democrats because they sounded and their record was more conservative than the Republican running. I don't care what your party affiliation is. No, it does not happen often. It's rather rare, but it does happen. That's why you got to be paying attention. Just because somebody's got the Republican in front of their name doesn't mean that they're a conservative, as we have found out numerous times in the past. So I'm asking these people about, what do they like about Sanders? And this is something that is a recurring theme that I see coming up over and over and over again. It's the healthcare issue. This is where there's currently a big Facebook conversation going on right now about healthcare. And the left always brings up this, there are 35 or 38, in Western nations. Out of the 35 or 38, depending on who you're talking to, there's only one that doesn't have standardized universal healthcare. They always bring up, Bernie Sanders brought it up. Bernie Sanders says, Sweden has such a great system. No, Sweden does not. You know, Canada, they used to tout Canada had such a model system until they found out that one of the fastest growing industries in Canada was medical vacations. What is that? Oh, Canadians crossing the border into the U.S. on vacation to get medical procedures and health care taken care of because they couldn't get it in Canada. Look, we've already seen the cost to people rise in this country from Obamacare. And I have made it a very I'm like, why is it that you would want the most personal thing in your entire life, your health, to be run by and decided by a government entity? Now, these two people, I get blank looks on their face. What do you mean? Well, you're going to lose your choice. Well, why would we lose our choice? You've already lost some of your choice. And let me tell you something. We've already got areas in this country where we have government health care, and it doesn't work. The VA. Oh, no, the VA is not the same thing. This is what I got from them. The VA is something totally separate. Like, what are you talking about? It's government-run health care. And a lot of these guys and ladies in the VA system don't have a choice to opt out. They're stuck. How is that different? That's run, but the VA is a mess. I know it's been a mess for years. Not just under Obama's made it worse, but it's been a mess for years. Not just him. He didn't cause it to be a mess. It's been a mess for years simply because it's government run. And it's no different. Fine. You've got Medicare and Medicaid. You got old people in this country, senior citizens. Many of them, most of them, they don't have a choice to opt out. After a certain age, you have to be a part of that type of system. Most of them don't like it, but they have no choice. And we have heard time and time again about how Medicare has screwed over senior citizens. And yet you want to expand that to the rest of us? So their question was, well, how do you fix this problem? I said, first of all, the problem is really not broken. You get government out of it. You have to understand, the United States has nearly 50% of the modern day medical advances. Almost 50%. Just the USA. That means the rest of the world has slightly over 50% of the rest of the innovation. The rest of the world. It takes 7 billion people to do what 300 million people have done. You get what I'm saying? You know what? One of them was talking about a friend having cancer and stage 4, 6 years ago, still alive. I said, yes, if it weren't for the United States, that friend would be dead right now. There is no ifs, ands, or buts or questions about it. Because remember in the 60s and the 50s, 60s, and 70s, when you got the big C notification, it was the same thing as in the 80s and 90s being told that you had HIV/AIDS. You were going to die. That was a given. The only question was how long you had left to live. It wasn't the rest of the world that came up with most of the advances in cancer treatment to save people's lives. It was the United States. If you have a government-run system, all of that sort of incentive, because let's face it, it's a profit motive incentive. Everybody realizes, if I cure this disease, well, on the other end, I'm going to save a lot of lives, going to relieve a lot of pain and suffering. But the companies who are involved in that, they're also going to make money. And there's nothing wrong with it. You take out that incentive and you get the rest of the world. There's no interest. There's no ability. There's no financial gain. There is no financing available to do the research. You have cancer. In some countries, it's still a 1960s diagnosis. You're going to die. But not in the United States and in the areas they've been able to export their advances. Well, how do we change this? How do we make things cheaper? You get the government out of it. You bring in competition. And for the life of me, they could not understand the idea of competition in the medical field. What do you mean? How are you going to have, you're going to have all these little insurance companies and little clinics. How are they going to accept? What? I'm like, what? They're going to try to compete for your business, the doctor or the hospital or the clinic. So they're going to accept all those insurance plans that they need to accept to attract the most people to them. Because my argument was, well, you can, where do you get your car insurance? Well, car insurance is different. How is it different? You could not buy your car insurance outside of your home state. You had to buy it within your state. There used to be many limits on other types of insurance, and most of the time you had to buy the insurance from an insurance company that was either based in or located within your state. At one time in New Hampshire, we were down to only 2 health insurers. Only 2. Now, for you liberal lovers, Jean Shaheen was governor when she kicked out all but 2 health insurance companies. Under Jean Shaheen, we were down to 2. If you had an employer, you better hope the employer had an out-of-state office or was based out of state. Because if you were in-state, you had a choice of only 2 health insurance providers. So where was the competition? And it was expensive. You wanted health insurance? You try to buy it on your own and become a part of, those mini groups where a bunch of individual people come together. Do you know the price of that stuff? Because there was no competition. You introduce competition in the auto industry, in the life insurance industry, and just about every other type of insurance industry that we have in this country. You open the borders so you can buy across the borders. You can buy your car. And in some cases, certain types of insurance you can buy from a foreign-based insurer that has no office here in the USA. That has brought the price of insurance for just about every kind of insurance into the basement. Competitiveness. It's called competition. But smart people. They are not dumb. But they could not understand or fathom the idea of competition in health care, in health insurance. They were fixated, well, there's going to be all these little tiny mom and pop like insurance companies, and who's going to accept that one? If you go to this, it's the same for dentists. You couldn't be able to buy your dental insurance across state lines. There are a lot of people that did not have dental insurance available to them because there was nobody inside their state offering dental insurance. Now you can buy, things like Delta Dental from just about anywhere in the country. Dental insurance is still for most people, is still pretty useless, but you have the ability and you have the choice. You have the choice to get it. Or not. You have the choice to see if it works for you or not. What Bernie Sanders and Obama are telling us, no, you don't have a choice. You've got to have health insurance. And you've got to have the kind of health insurance that we tell you. So a lot of people used to liked something, I did too, called major medical. Major medical plans. Well, that doesn't cover everything. Well, of course. Look, you want to go to your doctor? Go to your doctor for a physical. What does your physical cost? $180, $200? Tell the doctor how much is it going to cost if I pay the bill in cash right now. You're going to get a deep discount. Almost always. That they understood. Because, we know that. We've done stuff like that before. So they understand that. But they didn't understand and could not fathom how competition would work in healthcare. I'm like, you guys are in industries. You understand competition they're in the education industry. But there's still education there, competition there. I mean, and there's competition within you're competing with other people in education for the same jobs, are you not? Well, yeah, okay. Works the same way. But that's that brought to light to me what the real, it's not only the fact that you've got the millennial generation and some of their parents, the older generation, baby boomers especially, who believe that they can get something for free. And as I've always said, free's too expensive. We can't afford free. But here, you have just got to understand that a free market system, although far from perfect, it is far more perfect than a socialist or communist type of economic system. And I cannot for the life of me. I mean, I've even said, have you seen Bernie Sanders' tax plan? He said, yeah, we've seen them. And you're okay with paying that kind of taxes? Well, we're going to get health care. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Do you think it's going to stop there? And one of the issues is they, and a person brought up the Netherlands, Finland. Finland's got a 75% average marginal income tax rate. Sure, they get a lot of stuff that's provided for by government, but they're paying through the nose. Well, they can still afford a cell phone. I actually had somebody responded to me that way. They can still afford their cell phones. Oh, so the only thing you got to worry about is if government takes care of everything else, as long as you have enough to buy and take care of your monthly cell phone bill, then you're fine. By the way, cell phones in Finland, the monthly service, half the price here than it is in the United States. So they don't even need to even spend that much on their cell phone. The reasoning behind some people, because everybody expects that they're going to get something for nothing. Well, I'm sorry, but 70 or 75% of your income is not nothing. That's not free. And surprisingly enough, they weren't using the argument that you hear some of the ultra-liberal leftists talk about, well, what about the poor? They weren't using that argument. I've often said, this isn't about the poor. Your average everyday liberal, believe it or not, they're not thinking of the poor. They're thinking of themselves. You ask, when it comes right down to it, you ask those millennials what they really want and what all this is really about. It isn't about the poor person. It's about themselves. Plain and simple. I mean, this is, well, you can say what you want about that, but the very notion that you're going to get something for free should scare you to death. The very notion that the government is going to be involved and require something should scare you to death. The very notion that Bernie Sanders issues his tax plan of what the tax rates would be for every level should scare you to death. People who make less than $20,000 would see their tax bill raised by Bernie Sanders. I thought this was all about the poor. I thought this was all about providing something for everybody. Well, his tax plan is going to raise those people who make $20,000 a year or less, is going to give them a tax increase. Everybody's going to get a tax increase, but of course, the Democrats say that they're for the poor. The people who are going to be hit the hardest by the Bernie Sanders tax plan are those making less than $30,000 a year. It's in his own tax plan. Sure, you can, somebody making $500,000 or more, you can say, well, yeah, they're going to pay 65% now under the Bernie Sanders tax plan. That's a lot. But you take a person who's making $20,000 a year, and you take their tax bill from, I don't know, maybe $1,000 to $5,000. Who's hit harder? Yeah, that poor person that you say that you're all for. Not to mention, after personally experiencing all the debacles and deaths in my own family from government-sponsored and government-controlled healthcare, there is absolutely no way in hell I would ever want that, and neither should you.
On January 21st, 9 p.m., controversial and international rapper-songwriter Corey Preem will be performing his latest single, Blame It On My Mama, from his latest mixtape, There's Heaven and Then There's Hell. Hip-hop royalty will be in attendance, and a special guest is expected to stop in for a performance. It all happens at the Jerome at 85 Avenue A, New York, New York. Tickets just $15. Say Blame It On My Mama at the door to possibly win a free pair of Samsung Oculus Rift virtual reality glasses. Visit CoreyPreem.com for more information. That's CoreyPreme.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. National EMS Institute.com.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, franzblack.com. Franz Black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
And welcome back. It is still I, your lovable host, El Rod, broadcasting here on the Rod Eccles Show. 603-835-3224. That's the number to call. And speaking of calling, let's go to the phones right now. 336. You're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Go.
Good morning, Rod.
Good morning.
Let's get this day started right this morning.
Okay, are you going to be like the one of the callers yesterday and rip me a new one?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do this morning. I want everybody out there to know that, okay, I'm a Trump supporter and I love Trump, but it's not the job of a radio host to be an advocate for one candidate or another candidate. If that was the case on the Rod Eccles Show, we might as well be listening to Megyn Kelly or whoever that the folks out there don't care for, that are showing bias. And the fact that this show has no bias is something that we all should be proud of, especially Trump followers. That's exactly what we need. We don't need to call in and somebody say, "Oh yeah, Trump's the best, he's wonderful," because if that's what radio is all about, it's no different than watching a TV station that does the lamestream. I'm picking Rubio, I'm picking Bush, I'm picking whoever. Radio should be a forum like the Rod Eccles Show. It should be where you can call in and pitch for your candidate. If Rod Eccles gives you a feedback on your candidate that you don't like, well, it's your job to support your candidate and put forth what you think they're all about. We're not here. We're not advocating anybody.
Well, I'm being accused of talking out of both sides of my mouth. I mean, I say something positive about a candidate, and then right after that I say something negative, and they're accusing me of, well, he's got to support somebody. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. And I have said, and I've been accused of actually being a Trump supporter. I've been accused of being a Cruz supporter. I was even accused by somebody of saying, well, you're just a Rand Paul supporter. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how anybody could come to that conclusion. But okay. And I've even yesterday, somebody was telling me that you're not a true conservative. Now, that is something I've never had or heard before, that I'm not a true conservative.
Okay, I want folks out there to know something. This guy's a conservative. This guy's a patriot. Rod Eccles is a patriot. And if you call in this show, expect to have a little bit of back and forth, because we're this is not a show for pandering to one candidate. As much as I love Trump, I don't expect you to be on here and to pitch for Trump. I want everybody out there to understand that. Call in and be prepared to debate a little bit. I mean, that's what this whole process is all about. And if you think you're going to call into every radio station and only hear good things about your candidate, you're living in a pipe dream. This is about the support. That's what support means. You're there to hold up your candidate and to pitch for them as much as you can. But don't expect to call in and be baby like you were at home, folks. You're grown-ups now. Please call in, but when you call in, be ready for a few questions. Be ready to be challenged. And I want, Rod, as far as I'm concerned, I want you to challenge me whenever you feel like it, man. I mean, this is what this is all about. That gives me the opportunity to explain the things that I love about my candidate and the particular issues that are involved. And this is not a forum for bashing, That's for another program on another day. I've seen the cable stations between last night and this morning. They're propping up everybody but Trump and just continually bashing Trump. And there's nothing back and forth with any other person to stand up for Trump. And that's what we have to do as followers, because it's not going to happen in in mainstream media, but with the Rod Eccles Show and with radio, we can come on here, we can back and forth the issues, and that's the way it should be. And if you call in, please be prepared to do the back and forth. Stand up. You call in for supporting your candidate. Well, back and forth this thing and let everybody know how you feel, and don't cry like a baby when all your issues are not the main topic.
I appreciate your words on that. I really do. And I'm in just a second, I'm going to take you up on that. But
all right.
I'm listening to all of these pundits, and yesterday I caught Hannity's show, and I caught the top of the hour, the first hour, and I knew that he was going to have to weigh in on the Trump-Fox debacle because he works for Fox, and of course, as expected, he basically defended Fox. Well, he has to. I get that. He works for them. You can't really disparage your own employer on live radio that's being broadcast to like 15 million people. You got to expect him to be a little bit more favorable to Fox. However, he did do something that I have not seen anybody else do yet. He didn't have Donald on. Donald didn't come on, but his two sons did. His two oldest sons. Was it Donald Jr. and Eric?
Eric, yeah.
And I listened to them talk about their father and defend him for this matter. And, they brought up some interesting aspects that I hadn't really considered before. And this is exactly why you want to get everybody's opinion, because you're always going to hear something that you either hadn't considered or didn't know before. And I love getting more than one side of things, which is why I often challenge people. And I keep telling them, there are a lot. I tell everybody, look, you may like this person. I don't care if it's Trump, Cruz, Christie, Rubio, whoever. You may like them. You may think that they, in your mind, that they're the only candidate out there that could do or accomplish what you think needs to be done for this country. I mean, that's a false notion, but you may think, logically so, you may think that they're the only person. Great. There are a lot of American voters who is still at this point who are undecided. They have not decided who they want to throw their support behind. They haven't decided who they wanted to vote for. I am honestly one of those people. I like to listen. This is why I think many debates are good. More are better, not fewer. Because you get to listen to these people actually tell you what they believe, what they want to do, how they're possibly going to achieve what they want to accomplish. And that gives you a better way to gauge who fits with your core beliefs the best. You can't do that with sound bites. You can't do that with people calling you an idiot if you don't agree with them and join, their Cruz bandwagon or their Rubio bandwagon or whoever's bandwagon. I mean, that's not going to win me over. You calling me a Cruz supporter calling me an idiot is not going to win me over to Cruz's camp. And I cannot seem to get that through to some of these other supporters or some of these other candidates. And I'm just going to point them out. The Rand Paul and the Ted Cruz people are the worst at doing that. And you want to understand why your candidate is languishing, because you're not out there defending and promoting your candidate. You're out there bashing everybody else because they support somebody other than your candidate. That's not going to win you converts. It never has, and it never will. It's going to turn off a lot of people who aren't even going to pay attention to the candidate when they do begin speaking. They're just going to say, oh, those Cruz people or those Rubio people, they're nuts. And if they're nuts, that means their candidate has to be nuts. I don't want to listen to anything he has to say. That's natural human response to that type of stuff.
Well, there's an old saying that you have to know when to pick your fights, and picking your fight with a radio host is not the right thing to do. You are given the opportunity to speak to a lot of folks and do a back and forth, and to throw hate out there to any radio host. I don't like what Levin and what Glenn Beck are doing, but I'm not going to call and I'm not gonna tweet and bash them unless it's in defense of my candidate. And they have put themselves out there for a candidate, and that's what we love about you, Rod. You're not doing that, man. You're staying middle ground. You still have a decision you want to make, and I feel like it's part of my job as a Trump supporter to try to sway you toward our camp. But, you know, if I can, I can't. If I can, I can. But the only way I'm going to do it is to answer hard questions and to do a back and forth with you. I can't call Glenn Beck and do a back and forth about Trump because I know who he supports. I can't call the Mark Levin show because I know he's backing Cruz. He's made that clear, and that's again to call you and to do the debate with you. Well, not debate, but I guess we can call it a debate. It's a small debate, but to do that back and forth with you as a Trump supporter gives me more courage and more ways to get the message out, and it hopefully it helps you too as a voter to make some decisions and see how we feel, see how America feels about this, and that's what I appreciate about the show, man. And I digress.
No, that's quite all right. Look, I have said it before that I have major differing issues with every single candidate, and that there are some things that I really like, literally about every single candidate, including Jeb Bush. There are some things that I like about him, but in the end, I have to decide. Okay, well, who do I agree with the most? Who best fits me and my beliefs and my core beliefs and my dreams for the country? But I can't get there unless I can actually hear these people speak, and I can't get there unless I hear other supporters express positively why they support the candidate who they support. And I give Chris Christie kudos because he has not run I have not seen a single television ad in New Hampshire that has been negative. I gotta give him credit. I cannot say that about any other candidate that I've seen their TV commercials. He's the only one.
Right.
Got to give him kudos for that. Now, I haven't seen any Trump commercials. I don't know if Donald is running any TV commercials in New Hampshire. I haven't seen any.
His TV, I think this is what's going to happen. This rally at Drake University, I think this is going to be a TV ad. I think before it's all said and done, I think this is part of it. Every time, I want to get this out there. Every time I've watched one of the debates on either network, there's a big part of establishment sitting in the crowd, and every opportunity, it's a little bit some boos for Trump, but never the real strong applause like the establishment candidates. And I really don't blame Trump for doing this tonight, because what it does, it shows that microcosm of the debate. It shows, okay, we have Trump out on the stage. Everybody knows he's the number one target. Everybody knows that mainstream media are biased for establishment candidates. They look at Rubio strong. They look at folks like that really strong, and that's who they want to win this thing. Okay, why should Trump stand there and have boos, low applause, and everybody knows, that's it's not the debate they want to see. It's the tearing down of a candidate they want to see. Our debates have changed from subject matter to personality matter. Now, part of that is due to Trump because his personality is large. I mean, everybody knows that it's large and he's bold and stuff like that. And like I said, a couple of weeks ago, we all have warts and we've all been cut, we've all been bruised in our lifetime, and that comes out in everybody. But why should Trump? They've debated 6 times. And I've always thought, the Republicans debate so many times, Americans are sitting back, if they do turn over to the debate, they're thinking, these guys are a little strange because look at all the things they pull out of each other's background. And I think the Democrats are good enough about doing that. Why should the Republicans keep doing that for 7 and 8 times and give the Democrats a chance to pick us apart? We don't want to be wounded so bad when we go against the Democrats in the debate that they have material to feed off of. And I think that's one reason Trump said no to this and said no to Fox. Fox, all they do now is do negativity on Trump, and I think that's a stand. A lot of people don't like it because he's not doing a debate, but a lot of people like me love it. I want to see him out there. I want to see him talking to the people. I know he can win the general election. I can't think of any other candidate right now on the Republican side that can pull Democrats over. And I hear that all the time. I hear Democrats moving over to support Trump, and I really don't give a damn. My mother was a Democrat. I mean, she was a John F. Kennedy Democrat, but my father was a Republican, and my father and my mother I respect, and I do the same today. If there were a Democrat out there worth a damn, sure, I would probably look at them too. But you know what? I'm a strong conservative nowadays, and I look at Trump being able to go into the general election, bring people from different sides, different religions. I know everybody likes to take the statements he makes and only use half of them to fight back against him. And to me, that's wrong. They keep doing it. They do it on all the networks, all the mainstream, take part of a comment, okay, like the comment about shooting somebody and nobody would be bothered by it. Well, that comment was actually started by somebody else, but Trump repeated it because he doesn't have any fear. He doesn't fear this lamestream media. He knows he needs to get outside of it and speak to America and not go through the middleman. And sorry, Rod, I digress again.
No, you made a very good point, and the conversation I had last night brought up that very same point about Trump and about Bernie Sanders. Sanders, although he's on the opposite end of the political spectrum, Sanders is also an outsider who's also very politically incorrect. This guy will say anything that's on his mind. That's why everybody calls him, it's part of the reason why we say that he's a grumpy old uncle. And Hannity says he's a 73-year-old curmudgeon. But on the other end, that's also Trump. Those two men do not care what somebody else thinks of them. They have their own beliefs. They're not going to pander to anyone. Which, look, I do not believe in the sand. I'm not feeling the burn. But I have to give that man kudos. I mean, not only did he just break away from the Democratic Party and go independent and still win elections up in Vermont, but he continued to be this unabashed socialist bordering on communist. He doesn't apologize for it. He doubles down on it. And he just keeps coming out and coming forth with all of this, crazy, I call it crazy stuff. But the man is sincere about it. He is really sincere. And he's not going to let anybody tell him any different. I mean, he doesn't take super PAC money. So you could, for a guy who doesn't have his own money like Trump, that's huge. When you have a person that refuses party-affiliated super PAC money and party affiliation money, when he's not a multimillionaire himself to fund his own campaign, that is huge.
Well, as a really far left liberal socialist, I disagree with all of his issues, but I look at it this way: the college kids, the younger kids, they're not as well equipped to go in to vote with the issues all in mind. And I wish someday in the future, I love the young folks, man. I love them. I would like to see in the future, I would like to see it mandatory in college to do political science or whatever, to study the Republican, the Democrat, the Independent Party, and get to know what the issues are with each party, and not just go by what you hear on TV. The students need to be well equipped when they leave college or even high school. Let's go high school, man. They need to be educated in the issues of the day.
We don't have civics anymore. We don't have civics classes anymore. We need them back.
That's right.
We need them back.
That's right. That's right. Because, okay, if you have a school that has a college that has, let's say, 75% liberal professors, okay, chances are the big majority of the students that leave that college are versed in a more socialistic society that they see. And that needs to change. We're a capitalist country, and that has served us well for hundreds of years. And we need to stick with the roots and the heart of this country and what makes us strong. And we don't want to be another Greece. We don't want to be another Cuba. We don't want to be fixing 1962 four-door cars with motors from Russia. And we need to avoid that. Our kids need to be educated better. We already know the education in the lower grades is really suffering right now. I mean, we're like 28th in the world as far as education. And I think that education is the thing that everybody needs even more than learning a job. You need to know what your society is all about first before you get out in the world and start working. You need to know the nuts and bolts about society. And things are not just given to you when you come out. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to be on unemployment and I'll look around, but if I don't find exactly what I want, I'm just going to keep looking. Okay, take a job, and no matter what it is, if it's sweeping floors or whatever, take a job, but have the knowledge to do other things and have the knowledge to, when you go in that, I know I got off subject a little bit, but when you go in that voting booth, have the knowledge in your head. Don't just go in there and pick somebody for popularity. That's going to be a problem if we're not educating our young kids like they need to be. And anyway, that's how I feel about
popularity contest. Gotta love them.
But anyway, I want to get back to the subject of calling in to a radio host that is not going to pander to one candidate. And if you're out there, folks, and please call into this show and let Rod know how you feel. And don't be afraid of a question. I know you said you got a question for me, and I'm ready for you to bust it loose.
Well, we got a little bit of time left, so quickly, how do you feel? Well, you already answered a little bit of this about Trump not appearing on tonight's debate, and it sounds like he's really going to stay away, and I actually hope he does now that he said so. Do you really think that that's going to help him or hurt him?
I think it's going to help him because no matter what he does in the debate, he's going to get negative reviews. And by being out there like this, he gets to speak his mind, and he's letting everybody know how he feels. I mean, like I said before, you don't give every detail out, and he says this all the time. Everybody thinks because you don't give out details that he don't have details. Well, why should you lay your blueprint for success out for everybody to steal from, to pick like, a vulture on? He's not going to do that, man. This is a different kind of candidate. A lot of people are going to hate on him, and I expect that. But I love the fact that he's breaking free. He's the smart rebel. He's the smart. I don't know. He's a smart crusader. I guess I want to put it that way.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
He's a smart crusader, and I'm just pulling for him hard, Rod. And maybe one of these days, when you pull that lever in the voting booth, I hope you vote for Trump. I know you need to have your independent thoughts on this show, and I sure do appreciate it. And I appreciate you letting me come on here, man.
I thank you very much for the call again, my friend. Call back anytime. I'm still on the fence. So come on, convince me, all you other candidates.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom133.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom133.com. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom133.com.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, whew, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
You know, for all of those wonderful people out there who are behind government health care and Obamacare, know that a few days ago they came out with a score for Obamacare. Not just a score, but the economics behind it. The enrollment is lagging far behind what economists had projected for this time. The Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, that nonpartisan group that has to do with tries to tell us the truth about government spending and the government budget and what it really means and how much government programs are really going to cost. They've done a fairly good job over the years of actually telling us the real story behind some of these big time spending projects and programs. Well, the total number of customers that they expected to buy the plans on the exchanges is way down. As they were projecting that 21 million people, and this is, Obama was approval of this. Yeah, we're going to have all these people. 21 million people were expected to plop down their approval of Obamacare by getting on the exchanges and buying Obamacare insurance. Well, that number is about 40% less than was expected. Only 13 million this year, not 21 million. Basically in 2015. 13 to 21 million. Yeah, that's an 8 million person drop. Now, of that 13 million, 11 million of them will be getting government subsidies. Also down from the CBO projected 15 million. Now, having only 11 million versus 15 million getting subsidies is actually a good thing because it means the government is not spending, money on 4 million people. But you're down 8 million people. Do you realize now the government has to kick in that extra money anyway? This whole program, Obamacare, which is supposed to save us money, has already cost us more than if they had done nothing. We're not saving anything, but we're losing a bunch. We're losing huge amounts. So much so that the Fed, the CBO, now foresees within the next few years, not a decade or so, within the next president or two, the CBO is warning that we're going to hit a $30 trillion debt. The CBO, Congressional Budget Office, is blaming this increase in the debt as it looms over us on tax hikes and Obamacare. This is the CBO. Not some partisan group, not some partisan hack think tank. The Congressional Budget Office is telling us, and they have been pretty damn accurate over the years. When they've got the proper information, the right information to do what they call a score, actually tell us what it's really going to cost, they have been almost dead on every single time. So now they're telling us $30 trillion. Oh, what if they're off a couple of trillion? Yeah. 28 trillion, 31, 32 trillion. Doesn't matter. It's all bad. And they're telling us why. Due to looming tax hikes that are still coming down the line because of this new budget that Ryan helped get through, plus with the Obamacare. Obamacare is still being rolled out. We haven't felt the full brunt of Obamacare yet. We're about to. 2016 is a watershed year. We're about to feel the full brunt of Obamacare. And all those wonderful tax hikes that come along with it. And yet you got Bernie Sanders out there saying that he wants to raise taxes on everybody even more. Great job. Yeah, talk about a way to kill an economy. Welcome back, my friends. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die, even though our governor is looking at trying to expand Medicaid under Obamacare. Yeah, go figure. That's not live free or die too much. They haven't changed the motto yet, but they're trying to change us in other ways. But we're still fighting for it. The call-in number this morning is 603-835-3224. 603-835-3224. And frankly, if somebody out there thinks that I'm a Jeb Bush type of quote-unquote conservative, could they point that out to me, how they come to that conclusion? I would really like to know. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how they come across. I don't know how I did that, to convince people that I'm a moderate. But maybe because, during this whole, I'm not picking a candidate. Yeah, I have never jumped early on a bandwagon. Ever since I was old enough to vote and I paid attention to politics, I was never one of those people that jumped early on to a candidate. I always held back, watched, listened, learned, asked questions. I never jumped on. When I was 18 years old, I did not jump on the bandwagon like some people before the candidate even announces, yeah, I'm for that guy. I have often said, well, I'd like to see this person run. And there have been times when that person did run, and after they ran, I'm like, I don't really like him anymore. Because there's this whole persona, there's this mystique about that you think that you know somebody until you actually do know them. I know some of you are probably scratching your head. What does he mean by that? Well, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, and let me just use Trump for an example. Now, we all think that we know Trump because he's a larger-than-life persona. He's got a very large ego, rightfully so. He's a very successful self-promoter and businessman, and he turned his last name into one of the world's most recognizable brands. So because of all that, we think and people are saying, well, Trump has done this in the past, and he said that in the past, and he supported this person in the past. And they try to go back and find everything that they can possibly think of so they know Trump. And then he comes out of the gate running for office, and then all of a sudden, Trump starts saying things that they hadn't heard Trump say before, and they're like, wait, what? So you think you know somebody until you know them. There are people that thought, well, let's go back to Gary Hart. Oh yeah, Gary Hart's going to be great. And then Gary Hart started to run, and Gary Hart got in a little bit of trouble. And everybody's like, well, geez, we thought we knew Gary Hart. This isn't the Gary Hart that I know. Isn't that what people said? How often do you hear somebody say that about somebody? Well, that's not the so-and-so I know. Well, evidently, it is. You didn't know them until you knew them. Which is why I can never understand why people will say, well, I had these people that were beating on my door early on saying, yeah, Cruz is going to get in. Cruz is the best guy. Cruz. I'm like, yeah, Cruz sounds pretty nice. And then some people started to get to know Ted Cruz. And they found out, well, I don't really like him. And some people said before, well, I didn't think I was going to like Cruz until I got to know him. Because they thought they knew him until they knew him. So this is why I'm not an early adopter, if you will, on politicians. Because I may think I know somebody, and then I find out I don't know them at all. So, this is why I tell people, look, tell me why. Give me some positive. What is this candidate's vision? We know Hillary. We know Hillary inside and out. Because this isn't her first rodeo, obviously. And there are people out there that, Sanders keeps garnering support, but he's taking it from Hillary. But when some people, and hopefully now that Bernie has released his tax plan, and if people actually look at it and pay attention to it, they'll understand, well, wait a minute. I thought Bernie said he was going to go after rich people and businesses. Bernie Sanders is going after everybody, all the way down to the person who earns less than $20,000. The person, look, I find it amazing that people do not know this. You've got these candidates out there that are touting for and pulling for, and all these Democrats saying that we need to raise the minimum wage of $15 an hour. Minimum wage should be $15 an hour. And then we find out that both Hillary and Bernie are paying some of their people only $12 an hour. And people are trying to wait, what? I don't know. I know we tried this new math stuff, and it's really all the rage now in Common Core, but 12 still doesn't equal 15. So people don't know these people that they think that they love until they get to know them. And sometimes they love what they finally learn about them, and sometimes they don't. Which is why you should never. Obviously, there's going to have to be some people that a candidate has to garner and get under their wing, if you will, in order to start a campaign. But the general public should not be out there supporting a candidate before the candidate even gets in the race, because you don't know them until you know them. And we're still getting to know some of these candidates. And some of the candidates, like Donald Trump, are still shocking the hell out of us almost on a daily basis. Because the reason why Donald Trump, I don't care what you think of him. He is the master of self-promotion. He manipulates the media, the lamestream media, like a well-tuned Stradivarius. We know that there is a Republican debate tonight. But yet, who is everybody talking about right now? The other candidates? Even though the other candidates are trying to say something about this whole issue, who is everybody talking about? Who is everybody listening to? Donald Trump. The person who isn't even going. Do you understand the amount of money that somebody would have to spend to get the type of press that Donald Trump has gotten for free? I find that absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter if you like him, love him, hate him, despise him, think he's, the second coming. It doesn't matter. The point is that you know Donald Trump. And he has probably spent the least amount of money out of any of the campaigns, and you know more about Trump than any other candidate except maybe Bernie Sanders. Again, another guy who constantly is being talked about on the left. Right? Hillary is being talked about on a negative part because of the FBI. She can't get away from that stuff. She's tried to downplay it, distance herself, all that kind of stuff. She can't get away from it. And now even Bernie Sanders won't let her get away from it. And the problem with Hillary and versus Bernie is that Bernie is almost like Donald Trump, where he's being talked about constantly. What was everybody talking about on other than Trump yesterday? Talking about Bernie Sanders meeting with the president. Now, Hillary Clinton's already done that. There was very little press about Hillary Clinton meeting for hours with President Obama. Bernie Sanders meets with President Obama, and everybody's talking about Bernie. These two guys are brilliant when it comes to manipulation of the media and getting free press. They're geniuses when it comes to that kind of thing. Frankly, I got to tell you, I'm in awe of the old grumpy curmudgeon uncle from Vermont. He has just basically, he surprised me. And you know what? I've gotten to know Bernie. See, I thought I knew Bernie from before, but now I know Bernie, and it confirmed what I already knew. That I didn't like him. I didn't like his politics. But, you know, he's from Vermont and I still really didn't know much about him. But he's made damn sure that people know who he is now. I find that absolutely amazing. So you have all throughout, even if Donald Trump doesn't show up, whether or not they keep the empty podium up on that stage or not, all eyes and ears are going to be, even if they try to avoid talking about Donald Trump tonight, all eyes and ears are going to be on the Donald, because he's going to be the biggest figure in this race who is not there. And the American public is going to think to themselves, well, this is not a real debate. You've got the leading candidate who's got 40% support, not in a debate. This isn't a real debate. The person who counts the most is not. How can you have a debate when the person who counts the most, who is probably going to be at this particular juncture, nobody can see how it's not going to happen, that he's going to be the Republican nominee? How do you not have him in a debate and call it a real debate? Why do you think Ted Cruz has come out and given Donald Trump a challenge on a one-on-one debate? I know that Ted Cruz knows that he's a great debater and that he's a debating champion and all that kind of stuff. But let's face it, that's a risk. But people are talking about this whole notion of Ted Cruz issuing Donald Trump, and now people are saying, well, Donald, you should take him up on it. You got to take him up on it. And Ted Cruz doubled down by saying that he's already arranged for a spot for the debate. And all the other candidates are kind of upset. Well, why do you only want to debate Trump? Because Trump is the person who's far out ahead, who's garnering all the press, and the only way that Ted Cruz sees that he can get some of that is to piggyback on Donald Trump's coattails. And by doing that and saying, I will debate you personally, 101, mano a mano, Donald Trump. Now that brings Ted Cruz up to the Trump level. And people are talking about Trump, or talking about Cruz, saying, Trump, you got to debate him. You got to do it, man. He's done it. And nobody's talking about anybody else. And again, all eyes are on Trump. I know that was not Ted Cruz's point or his goal, but basically what he did is he gave himself a little bit of press, but most of it is now back on Donald Trump. Because Donald hasn't even responded. He hasn't obfuscated. He hasn't, hemmed and he's blatantly not responded. And now everybody is looking at him and talking about and giving their opinion on whether or not Donald should or should not accept Cruz's challenge. That's masterful. Masterful. You can't You know, you can hate him all you want, but the one thing you have to admit, you cannot deny, that he has manipulated the media this time around. Instead of the media manipulating the people and the candidates, Donald Trump has turned the tables. Bernie Sanders has turned the tables on the lamestream media. And I got to tell you, the lamestream media, they're pissed about it. Why do you think the lamestream media is trying to prop up Hillary Clinton? Because Bernie Sanders called them out. They can't have this guy doing that. You know, they're the kingmakers. And they're going to prove their power and their worth by proving that they're going to be able to get the candidate of their choice up there. Hillary's faltering everywhere. I mean, she's just losing support left and right. There's even stuff out there today that she's having, her campaign is running into financial difficulties. Oh, wait a minute. She's the front runner. How does the front runner run into financial difficulties? It means that donors are closing their checkbooks. And they're not going to Sanders because he's not taking their money. So these donors, these big, influential donors, are now left out in the cold on the Democrat side. By the same token, on the Republican side, Donald Trump isn't taking big donor money. He's not taking any money. So the big Republican influential donors are also left out in the cold. Isn't that interesting? You know, the very people that the real conservatives and the real Democrats hate and despise now find themselves on the outs. Oh yeah. Conservatives don't like all the big donor money either. Big donor influence any more than the liberals. We don't. We don't like our politicians being bought because then they don't do what we want them to do. You know, I came up with the analogy last night when I was talking to my two friends about this. I said, you know, the problem with the current system in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is like a giant cesspool. I said, look, take Marco Rubio, for instance. Marco Rubio was a Tea Party darling. He was a Tea Party darling. Tea Party pushed and got Rubio elected in Florida. Rubio was a fresh face. You know, he's a good-looking guy, young, you know, Latino, Cuban, of Cuban descent. Perfect. He was a conservative. Oh yeah, he was going to go into Washington, and he was going to, you know, like the Ted Cruz and a few other people, he was going to upset that apple cart. And he gets down there, and he didn't have the intestinal fortitude to withstand the muck, the mire, the cesspool. He got dragged in, and he was covered. He was drowned in it. And that's how we start getting some things that when people say, well, Marco Rubio, he was behind one of the Gang of Eight on immigration? Are you kidding? That's in the Tea Party members saying that's not the Marco Rubio that we helped get elected. What the hell happened? Well, he got sent to Washington, D.C. That's what happened. But there are a few people who are strong enough to resist. Bernie Sanders is one. Ted Cruz seems to be one. They try to fling and cover them with mud. It's like they have those big yellow raincoats with a yellow umbrella, and the muck doesn't stick to them. That's why they're not liked. That's why the powers that be don't want them. Because they apparently have proven that they cannot be totally manipulated. They cannot be bought. Now, you can say what you want about Bernie Sanders. I cannot stand his politics. But I can admire the man for being an independent, going his own way for all of these years and not being corrupted.
On January 21st, 9 p.m., controversial and international rapper-songwriter Corey Preem will be performing his latest single, Blame It On My Mama, from his latest mixtape, There's Heaven and Then There's Hell. Hip-hop royalty will be in attendance, and a special guest is expected to stop in for a performance. It all happens at the Jerome at 85 Avenue A, New York, New York. Tickets just $15. Say Blame It On My Mama at the door to possibly win a free pair of Samsung Oculus Rift virtual reality glasses. Visit CoreyPreem.com for more information. That's CoreyPreme.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSInstitute.com.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Friends Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
603-835-3224. That's the number that you can call if you want to appear here on the Rod Eccles Show as I imitate a male version of Hillary Clinton. Right, I just saw a new conversation happening. Now it's about the United States being one of only 13 countries that do not provide for paid vacations, and that what about a third of Americans do not even have any paid vacation opportunities. Well, there's two problems. Well, there's a number of problems with that, but two major ones. One is you don't get paid time off for a part-time job, and a lot of Americans are working A lot of Americans, instead of having one full-time job or any full-time job, have 2, 3, or 4 part-time jobs in order to make ends meet. You're not going to get full-time benefits on a part-time job. The other problem is that Americans tend not to take their vacation time anyway. Not all of it. I mean, there are some companies that try to make it, and this is a lot of it is in the healthcare industry, hospitals especially. They try to force their employees to take their vacation time because Americans tend not to do, and they have a reason for doing that because it's not that they fear losing their job, but they fear losing their position. And that means that they fear if they lose their position and their standing, they're not going to get that next promotion. So everybody's thinking, well, I've got to be there. I've got to be there. And look, millennials who are actually working, who actually love their jobs, who are making the big bucks, they don't take a lot of vacation time either. Now, I know I've made the blanket statement in saying that the millennials as a generation are lazy, and they are. They don't want to do what they don't want to do. I went to college. I've got a bachelor's or a master's degree. I deserve to have the job that I want and make, high 5 figures or 6-figure income. And if anybody doesn't offer me that, I'm not going to work. Well, that's laziness because you got to work your way up to it. They're not willing to do that. Now, of course, some of them land these big jobs, especially if they're in the computer industry like Facebook or something. But they will work 12, 18-hour days because they absolutely love and they're immersed in what they're doing. But their main reason for doing it, again, is much like their baby boomer parents. They're about the money. They're all about the Benjamins. They're running around talking about how everybody should be paying for them and give them free this and free that, and they prop up Bernie Sanders and Bernie Sanders talks about raising taxes, and they're going yay until they get to those jobs that are then make them considered to be rich. And if you don't think that it's a hypocritical notion, look what's happening out in San Francisco and in the entire Silicon Valley region. You have all these high-tech companies that used to be startups that are now making big bucks. Some of them still aren't turning a profit, but they're making lots of money. And they're paying these kids under 35 lots of money. And they're saying, even though they're not at home a lot, they're saying, you know what? I need a house. And they're going into these markets because they have all this money. Because, really, the one thing about the millennials, whether they have a job or not, is they tend to try to live, they don't like to spend their money. Part of the problem is that they're too busy working or sitting on mom and dad's couch playing video games to go out and spend any money. So they have all this money. And they realize they need to do something with it. So they say, I want to buy a house. Well, now you're in San Francisco, where the supply is limited to begin with. And they all want to live in a certain city or town or neighborhood, and the supply is limited. And they all know that they all have this money, so they're walking in and saying, okay, this house that it was originally in the market, say for $500,000. By the time the person moves in who actually was able to buy it, That house is now, $500,000 house is now $750,000 or more. They're driving up the values of property in Silicon Valley, especially San Francisco. This has made the news out there numerous times about families and people who don't make that kind of money being put out of their apartments because some rich techie kid has come in and scooped it up and they want to move into it. Homeowners, hey, building those apartments, you can't blame them. Somebody wants to give them above market value for their home, especially if they were looking to move out of the area anyway. Sure, why not? Don't blame them. I would do the same thing. I have a home. I'm looking for a way to possibly downsize, upsize, whatever, move out of the city, go to the country, go into the valley or something. I'm looking for a way out. I've been thinking about it. Why not? Might be a nice change, right? And somebody knocks on my door. It's a real estate agent and says, I have a person or a couple with a lot of money who wants to buy your home. They're willing to pay you top dollar. And you say, well, I think, my place is worth $500,000. They're willing to give you $600K. Really? Well, let me think about it. First thing you're going to do is call another real estate agent. Say, look, I just put my house I'm going to put my house on the market. What can you do for me? Of course, that real estate agent is going to run right away for that new listing. They're going to come out. They're going to look at it and say, yeah, your house is worth about $500,000. We can put it on the market $500,000. Well, I just had an offer yesterday. Somebody came to my door and offered me $600,000. And that real estate agent says, ooh, give me this listing. We're going to run with this boy. And soon enough, the homeowner gets an offer, a real offer in front of them by their real estate agent. They just offered you $750, but you got to say yes right now. And that person is saying, well, geez, I was only expecting $500,000. They're going to give me $750? Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm out of here. And that's been happening all over the Silicon Valley, especially San Francisco, to the point where it has garnered the attention of the news media about the plight of all of these people who are working class families in San Francisco who are being evicted from their homes because some Silicon tech kid has come in and bought their house from their landlord, and now they have to move because they can't afford to stay there. They're being displaced. Now, these are the same kids that are telling everybody else that, well, we gotta tax the rich more. And then they start getting their tax bills, and they're saying, wait a minute. If you take all that money from me, I'm not going to be able to keep this big house that I just bought and want. And all of a sudden, they start becoming very stingy. They don't change their political views, but their personal financial views, they become very stingy. See it happen over and over and over again. It's all fun and games until you become the object of the game. And then it's no longer fun. And yet, they still do the same thing that everybody else does. They keep electing the same people who want to take more and more of their money, and they wonder why their taxes keep going up. Because they don't think of themselves as rich, by the way. I've told you this before. Millennials, most of them, they're earning six figures. They do not consider themselves to be lucky, favored, or rich. They don't. Now, many of us would say, well, geez, you're pretty highly favored there, making $400,000 a year. That's kind of wealthy. And they'll look at you and say, I'm not rich. Don't label me, man. I'm not a rich person. And so because they don't want to view themselves, this is why words mean things and why labels are also important, which is why millennials do not want to be labeled. Because if you can label them, that means that you can pigeonhole them into a certain class or category that they possibly have said they don't like. And don't label me rich, man. I'm not rich. Well, yeah, you are, according to the standards of your supported political people. You're rich. Oh, they can't stand that. You go and say, well, hey, what are you? Are you gay? Don't label me. Why? I know we have all these people that talk about tolerance and being open. They're so tolerant and open that they don't want to be labeled what they are. I mean, if a couple of weeks ago I had a young man, Democrat, evidently he was black. But he didn't want to be called black because that's a racist term. Well, what do we call a person then with our shade of skin color? They're moving so far away from trying to be labeled because they don't want to be associated with things that they say that they love and embrace, but actually hate. Are you gay? No, I'm pansexual. What the hell does that mean? A lot of them will tell you, I don't know, but it just means I'm not gay, I'm not straight. Oh, so you don't want to be... Are you a boy that likes boys? Well, yeah, I like boys. Are you a boy that likes girls? Yeah, I like girls too. You're bisexual. No, I'm not bisexual. What? I don't know what else is left. They want to try to choose something that is so obscure because they don't want to be put into the category of something that they really do hate. When somebody tells you that they don't want to be labeled, you know exactly what they do not like. And that's basically hypocritical, folks. That is hypocritical to the core. It really is. Breitbart. I don't know. Who's going to pay for all those paid vacations, by the way? You do realize that the majority of Americans work for small and lower-end mid-sized companies. I know when people say that there should be paid vacations, they're thinking of big corporations that can afford it. Well, what about those mom-and-pop shops and all those companies that have 100 or fewer, 500 or fewer employees? Hell, the owners probably don't even take vacations. Who's going to pay for those vacations? They want to pay. You want somebody to be able to pay you when you're not producing anything for them. I don't know where this give me without me having to work mentality is coming from. I mean, who was it? Sweden? Sweden was trying this. Well, maybe we should go to this 6-hour work day. And France has tried that 4-day work week thing. And we found out that doesn't work. They're finding out the 6-hour workday that they originally thought was going to be beautiful and give so much more production really doesn't work. Yeah, it's working for some companies, but many companies are saying, no, it doesn't work. Now we're trying to figure out how to get out of it. Not to mention, because the world is so small now, the entire world is a 24/7 world. If everybody else is working 8, 10, 12, 14-hour days, how do you think you're going to compete only working 6? You're not. But they figure it's a way to reduce unemployment, for one, because now you're going to need more employees to cover the same amount of hours that your company is open. Well, might as well just hire nothing but part-time people, because that's what it is. 6 hours a day is part-time work. They want to introduce that here in the United States. I think we're already doing that. There's a lot of people already working part-time. Now you want to make that the standard working day and turn everybody into a part-timer, because there's no way in hell you can give full-time benefits and full-time pay to twice the number of employees. It's not going to work because you're going to need twice the number of employees to cover all the hours that you need covered. Now you think, well, they're only cutting back 2 hours. No, you're only cutting back one person's by 2 hours. You're forgetting how long that business is going to be open. Do you want to cut back the service hours as well? Because if you don't want to hire additional employees to cover those hours, you're going to have to cut back your service hours. People are not going to like that. So where is the money going to come from to pay for these paid vacations? Nobody ever thinks about that. And look, it was not Wolf Blitzer. Was it Neil Cavuto showed that when he asked this wonderful, very animated liberal girl, where was the money going to come from for free college? And she couldn't give an answer. She didn't know. She didn't know because she never thought about it. She just heard this free college thing, free this and free everybody. Paid vacation. Everybody thinks is wonderful at first, and then you start trying to figure out, well, how is it actually really going to work and who's going to pay for it? You ask them that, they could not tell you because they've never thought that deep. All they'll come up with, well, we'll just tax the rich. Well, the rich have already been taxed. They've been taxed to pay for this and this. They don't have any more money. Bernie Sanders just said, well, we're going to give universal health care and universal college to everybody. And he just raised the tax rates on everybody. Like, well, where is the money going to come from? Well, we get it from the rich. The rich are already now under Bernie Sanders' plan, who's still not covering the entire cost of his budget. They're already paying, 3/4 of their income in taxes now. Where are you going to get the money from? You're going to take 100% of their money? No, they don't have an answer because they've never looked at the numbers. They've never thought about it. It just something sounded good to them, and they internalize that feel good from that sound, and they think, yeah, that's the way to go, man. I could get yeah, man. Again, it's all about them. They could give a rip or not if somebody else gets free college. It's all about them. It's all about I can get. Well, how are you going to pay for it? Well, I don't care. Well, you got to care because someday you're going to be on the paying end of it. And you're not going to have the money, so how are we going to pay for it? Well, I don't know. Well, maybe you should go back and think about it. Because they sure as hell don't do a lot of thinking. College? Some of the dumbest people that you can possibly come across, and I mean this with love. Some of the dumbest people you can ever come across, ever meet, are college graduates. But they don't know any better because they haven't been taught anything. So it's not all of their fault. And that's the truth. They haven't been taught. So if you haven't been taught something, how do you know you don't know it? They're not completely at fault for being so dumb. Just saying. Breitbart.com. This is something that was somebody brought this to my attention late yesterday. And I thought, you have got to be kidding me. So I went and did a little digging. And what I found was absolutely incredible. And this as it pertains to Donald Trump, but not just Trump. It brings in people like Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and a whole bunch of everybody else in Washington, D.C. And it has to do with Fox. Yes, the wonderful We Report, You Decide, Fair and Balanced network. The supposed right-leaning network. I would like to officially challenge that notion. that Fox News is a conservative network. I am officially challenging that. They're not conservative. At best, they're moderate. And if you were talking JFK days, they would be ultra-liberal. We already know that Fox does not like Trump. I'm not talking Megyn Kelly. I'm talking the Fox hierarchy. They don't like Donald. Because Donald Trump won't play ball. They loved Marco Rubio, and you could see that back in July, August, and September, especially during the debates, when they were giving softball questions. If Rubio had anything to do with Fox, if anybody from Fox was asking Rubio questions, they were softball questions. That was brought to my attention, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? That is absolutely true. And they tried every which way they possibly could to disparage Trump. Now, that is not fair and balanced. It's not. You might as well be NBC or MSNBC mess or the Clinton News Network or something like that. If you're going to do that, you might as well be one of those guys. One of the lamestream media. Fox is now, in my book, lumped into the lamestream media. Because they are lame. No, not all of the TV hosts over there, or the network itself. Yes. I know there's some. Well, no, Glenn Beck is no longer there. I don't. It just gives you an idea. Glenn Beck was over there. And you got Bill. Didn't Bill O'Reilly praise Obama? Obama's really a good guy. Like I said, I don't know President Obama personally, but I don't think we'd get along. We would not be sitting down having a beer. He just incenses. I can't stand it. It's like Hillary Clinton. He's like the male Hillary Clinton for me. I cannot stand that woman personally. Forget her politics. What she has done in the past makes me loathe her. And I just hope to God she's not our next president. I couldn't go another 4 or 8 years hating our president. And I know as a Christian I'm not supposed to hate anybody. Hate's a very strong word. But honestly, I can't go another 4 or 8 years hating our president as much as I did these past 7 years. I don't think it's not nice. It's not a nice feeling. It really isn't. I don't want to have to do that. I try not to do that. I have tried to, at first, give him the benefit of the doubt. Try to be kind of nice. Try to say, well, he is the first half African president we've had. We've got to at least give him that. And I tried to find some of those liberal mantras about him. And I just cannot stand the guy. I can't. And Hillary is even worse. It's hard for me to listen to that shrill voice. I mean, it makes my skin crawl. Literally every time I hear her talk. I just can't deal with her. And there's that one person, just about everybody has that one person in their life that they've come across in their life that they absolutely cannot stand being in the same room with. That's Hillary Clinton. For me. Bernie Sanders just makes me angry. It's not like I dislike the man. He just makes me mad all the time. There's a difference. If I ever want to get, have a temper tantrum or get angry about something, all I got to do is just go listen to or talk to Bernie Sanders, and that'll do the trick. Because he just gets me angry. It's not that I actually kind of like Bernie. I know he's an idiot, but he just makes me angry. He makes me an angry black man. That's just it.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom133.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom133.com. Go to freedom133.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom133.com.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, Man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
And welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show, the fastest 3 hours in internet talk radio right here. Broadcasting live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The call-in number this morning is 603-835-3224. If you are an ecclesiastite, call in. If you're a liberty lover, call in. I don't care where in the globe you are right now. Call in. If you're just a regular everyday person, if you're a liberal, if you're a ultra-conservative, if you're a nut-job libertarian, I don't care who you are. I invite you to call in at your leisure. But you only got, less than an hour left to do so. Breitbart.com. The announcement from Donald Trump's campaign that the Republican frontrunner will definitely not partake in this evening's festivities at the Fox News debate has sent shockwaves throughout the nation's political scene. Oh, yes. How could this person, this one man, command such attention by not appearing at our debate? Now, at a press event on Tuesday, Trump seemed to cite disparate, not desperate, but disparate. Yeah. Can you say that in an accent? I sure can. Disparate treatment from the network as his reasoning for not participating. Now, he says, what's wrong over there? Something's wrong. Trump said that he's tired of the games. He says, Roger Ailes and the networks are playing games, and I'm tired of it. Well, he's actually got a point. Now, in asking the question of what's wrong over there, Trump has shined a spotlight on one of Washington's best-kept secrets. Namely, Fox's role via its founder, Rupert Murdoch, in pushing an open borders agenda. That's right, Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, people. And I looked this up. It's absolutely true. Rupert Murdoch, even via Fox and some of his dealings with Washington, has pushed open borders. They've campaigned for it. Now, the Trump campaign, this explains why Fox doesn't like Trump. The Trump campaign is a direct threat to Murdoch's effort to open America's border. So is Cruz. Cruz is a direct threat. You know what? I don't really... Now, I could be wrong, and this is again, not getting to know the person. I know that Cruz is constantly saying that he's against open borders. He would build the wall. He would actually hire Donald Trump to build the wall. Got it, get it, yeah, whatever. And we know that Rubio seemed to have flip-flopped back and forth on this whole amnesty, open borders, type of thing. Got it, yeah, got it. And now he's got a TV commercial here that's airing in New Hampshire that says that he's not for amnesty and that he would close the borders and build the 700 miles of fence. Is that all we need is 700 miles of fence? Somehow I thought it was more than that. I don't think we... because what is it? The border with Mexico, is that like 2,000 miles long? From the California coast to the Texas Gulf. I mean, is that really all we need left? We've built that much already, and all we have... If we've already built that much, why don't we build the rest? I mean, it would be cheap compared to what we've already built then. Rubio said 700 miles. Now, I don't know if that's accurate. But he's been all over the map with this thing, and people just don't know if they can trust him on the immigration issue. I'm with him on that. It's one of my major issues with Rubio. But I do not know really where Rand Paul stands on that issue. I haven't really heard him espouse that, and I haven't heard any of his supporters talk about that, about being one of Rand Paul's planks in his platform. I really don't know where Rand stands in that. I mean, I'm sure I could probably go look it up. And now that I'm thinking about it, I will. But the point is that he seems to be absent on that. And that's for all you Rand Paul aficionados out there. Your candidate isn't being heard. And you're not helping. Just saying. So the Trump campaign is a direct threat to Murdoch's efforts to open America's borders, well concealed from virtually all reporting on Fox's treatment of Trump is the fact that Murdoch is the co-chair of what is arguably one of the most powerful immigration lobbying firms in the country, the Partnership for a New American Economy, the PNAE. In addition to blanketing the country and blanketing media and politicians with literature. Isn't that how the British say it? Literature. Or is that how, those who think they're overly educated in this country pronounce it? Literature. After blanketing them with literature, advertisements, and a barrage of lobbyists pushing for open border immigration policies, the Partnership for a New American Economy was a prime lobbyist for one of the biggest open border pushes in American history. Using, buying, corrupting, immersing in their muck Senator Marco Rubio, who became a member of the Gang of Eight immigration bill. Now, when somebody first brought this to me, and I went and did a little digging, and I uncovered this, I was livid. Which is why I say now, Fox News is not now, nor has it ever been, fully conservative. It was always moderate. Blue blood Republican moderate. And this is one of the issues that I have with the United States Chambers of Commerce. They back, immigration and amnesty. Like, what are you, out of your mind? Well, I know the basis behind it because they think that business will benefit. Let me tell you something. Yeah, business will benefit, but you won't. And I don't know why they don't understand this. Look, if you start replacing American workers with immigrants who work for less money, how do you think you're going to end up making more money? Because nobody's going to be able to afford your product or service. Not to mention your taxes are going to have to go up to support those people who are not working. In other words, are they trying to turn the United States into a type of system, a type of class system, where not only do you have the haves and the have-nots, but you have the workers and the court, the royal court? Are they trying to make everybody in the United States fat, dumb, and happy, provide for them on a daily basis so they can remain fat, dumb, and happy and just play and recreate all day long while immigrants do all the work, supporting a nation of non-workers? Is that what we want? Let me tell you something. A nation like that doesn't last a decade. It doesn't. Because sooner or later, those who are being oppressed, those who are being mistreated, those who are being used are going to rise up in massive numbers while the rest of us are too fat, too dumb, too lazy to do anything about it. And the next thing we know, they've taken over, they're running the country, and now we're up you know what without a paddle. Yeah, we're up Muck Creek without a paddle. Is this what they're trying? I don't hear anybody saying this utilizing this conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy. It's actually happening. You've got Disney, who's now being sued by some of its former employees because they were forced to train their replacements. Their H-1B people came in, and these Disney American citizen employees trained them, and then those H-1B people replaced their trainers. So it's maddening because now I have this. I still have not seen the Star Wars movie. Yeah, I still haven't seen it. And now I'm on the fence about it. I'm like, do I want to spend my $15 at the theater supporting Disney's efforts of displacing American workers? Do I really want to do that? As bad as I want to see what they've done to Star Wars, because everybody's telling me, oh, it's great, Rod, it's a great movie, it's really good. Yeah, fine. You stay fat, dumb, happy, and entertained, and your fellow American citizen is going to lose their job. How is that going to make you feel? You still going to think that's a good movie? Oh, yeah, those Hollywood actors there, oh, they're making a mint. I mean, there are rumors, I've seen rumors about Harrison Ford making as much as $40 million off this movie. Now, even if that's a bit high, you know he's still getting his regular salary of at least $20 million. He's in that $20 to $30 million range per film. You know he's making that. So they're going to be fine. Hollywood's going to be fine. Hollywood has always been fine. Look at the Great Depression. Yeah, movies may have only cost like a nickel or a dime, but Americans kept going to the theater, making the stars and starlets of the 30s and 40s very wealthy in their day. They'll always be fine. All the while we have a network like Fox that pretends to be something or portrays it to be something that they know they are not. They are foisting a fable upon the American people. Evidently, Trump got wind of this. Trump knows a little bit about this. And Trump has decided he's not going to participate in this sham. I mean, now Donald Trump he's pledged and promised to deport illegal immigrants. And everybody says, well, how can he do that? Let me tell you exactly how you deport whatever the number is, 11, 20 million. Let me tell you how you deport that many people. It's very easy, actually. And there are places that have done it on a local level. It's not hard to do. All you have to do is enforce your laws that you currently have in the books, and we have plenty of them. You enforce them, and you back them up where necessary with new laws that punish those who break those other laws. So in other words, you make it near impossible for somebody to live here who's not here legally. You find and you catch the employers that are knowingly employing illegal immigrants, and you punish them hard, and you will find that they will stop hiring illegals because the risk to profit ratio is too great. They're not going to take the chance. Now, if you want laws to work for the American people, if you want laws that protect the American people instead of taking away their freedom, how about you say, employer, you pay this person under the table, you hire an illegal immigrant, we catch you, it is, say, I don't care, $100,000 fine per employee. Now, you're going to find that small businesses, who a lot of these illegals go to, are not going to risk it. They're not going to hire. They're not going to go to the street corner every morning and with their pickup truck and say, you, and you, get in the back and run them off someplace to do a day job. You're not going to have that. Because you start placing agents at these places, because we know where they are. They're not in hiding. They're out in the open. They're not going to be able to, they can't go underground, because how are you going to find a job if you're secretly trying to look for one? Yeah, that doesn't work either. You're not going to be able to walk up to an employer and say, "Hey, give me a job, man." I'm just using that because it doesn't mean that they're absolutely necessarily an illegal Mexican. We have illegal aliens from all over South and Central America. It's not so common to have illegal aliens coming from Asia because it's a long distance for them to come. They're not coming by boat. They have to try to abscond themselves away on an aircraft. That's not easy to do. Although you do have some people like Chinese human trafficking, they will shove them into shipping containers. But once they get here, they still got to find work. And if you start clamping down on everybody that hires illegal aliens, they're not going to hire them anymore. You're going to start seeing people leave willingly. Because, look, they still need to live. They need to eat. They need to have shelter. They're going to go someplace back home because they're probably going to figure, well, we got a better chance of making life at home than because, if we're not going to get caught. I know some people are saying, well, if you do that, Rod, you're going to increase the drug trafficking. Really? This is why I say that we should end the war on drugs. Now, I don't believe that certain drugs should be legalized, no, but we need to end this war, so-called war on drugs. It's costing us too much, both monetarily and in human treasure. How many people are getting killed by law officials, innocent people? I'm not even talking about the drug pusher. How many innocent people are killed on an annual basis by law enforcement because we're enforcing these drug laws? It's insanity. It is insanity. Now, you can't blame law enforcement because they're out there trying to do their job that they've been tasked to do. But you put them to work doing something that is really important, like keeping Americans safe from foreign threats, instead of worrying about, sending them to Brazil and Colombia and Mexico. And stop worrying about, illegal gun trafficking to Mexico that the government was involved in. We can't do that kind of stuff. That costs too much. And why do you want to put your law enforcement people, why do you want to put their lives and their families' lives at risk for this stuff? For a pot? Really? No, legalize some of this stuff, regulate it, tax the hell out of it, And you get rid of a humongous problem. Look, they've been so effective at getting people to quit smoking that they keep having to raise the tax on a pack of cigarettes because they're not making the money off of cigarettes and tobacco like they used to make because people stop using it. Fine. Then tax the hell out of cannabis, out of pot. And you're going to find that people are going to stop smoking it. I don't know. Why is it that you want to tax the hell out of and regulate everything that is legal because you don't want people to do it? But then you'll take something that's illegal, that you want people to stop doing it, and you won't make it legal and do the same thing to it? Because why? Because somebody's making more money off of it being illegal than legal. You can take that to the bank. That is plain and simple. The reason why that we have this war on drugs, folks, has nothing to do with saving society. Making marijuana illegal has nothing to do with saving people's health and saving society from a drug scourge. We already know that marijuana is not a gateway drug. It's not. I've never smoked this stuff. I take that back. Yes, I've tried it twice when I was in college and high school. And yes, I did inhale because I hacked up a lung. Kind of like smoking cigarettes for the first time. When you inhale because you cough half to death. Did nothing for me. I didn't feel the high. I don't know. Maybe it was bad pot. I don't care. I don't want to do that stuff. I don't want to. Well, I smoke cigars, and people say, "Well, that's a drug." Yeah, it's nicotine, I suppose, but it's heavily regulated and it's heavily taxed. Why not do that the same with pot? You're going to make, the government's going to make some money while they're trying to get people to quit. People will eventually start quitting like they do with tobacco. And you are not, the government is not only achieving its goal of getting people to not use the product, but they're also making money at the same time. They're not spending money on it. But the reason why pot is still illegal in most places, and some states are getting wind of this and realizing, well, we can, like Colorado, we can make a ton of money if we just legalize this stuff and heavily regulate it. But the reason why it's still illegal on a federal level is because somebody's making money, lots of money, off of it being illegal. And I'm not talking about the drug lords that are growing it in shady pastures, all across this country and in Mexico and Central America. I'm not talking about the drug lords. And we want to send our brave men and women of law enforcement out into these woods and forests and back alleys and places like that, searching for this stuff, them knowing good and well that they may actually die by going out into the woods looking for this, because somebody just might see them and decide they need to protect their crop. They're going to kill that officer. It's happened. So why do we do that? Because we've been sold a bill of goods that it's bad, that it's a gateway drug when it's not, just like Fox. On one hand, they're telling us one thing, and on the other hand, they're doing something totally different behind our back. And now we know why Fox does not like Trump, because Trump is going to shut down their whole plan of open borders and flooding this country with so-called cheap labor. Folks, as they always say, if you want to know the truth about anything, anywhere on this planet, not just the United States. I mean, if you really want to get down to brass tacks, if you really want to know the truth, which is why sometimes it is so hard to find people who are not beholden to anybody, because the almighty dollar in whoever's currency, that has a lot of power. That talks a big talking game. It says a lot. So it's hard to find somebody who's not going to be enticed by that. If you want to know the truth about just about anything, all you have to do is one thing: follow the money.
On January 21st, 9 p.m., controversial and international rapper-songwriter Corey Preem will be performing his latest single, Blame It On My Mama, from his latest mixtape, There's Heaven and Then There's Hell. Hip-hop royalty will be in attendance, and a special guest is expected to stop in for a performance. It all happens at the Jerome at 85 Avenue A, New York, New York. Tickets just $15. Say Blame It On My Mama at the door to possibly win a free pair of Samsung Oculus Rift virtual reality glasses. Visit CoreyPreem.com for more information. That's CoreyPreme.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
Oh, there we go. A little bit of a tech issue there. Welcome back, folks. This is your lovable host coming back to you. Don't know why that happened. I need an engineer. Need somebody here to run this board with me. Might help. If you want to volunteer, please let me know. Volunteer to run the board for the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect conservative black man on the planet. That's kind of a great acronym, don't you think? Moniker, as it will. So Donald Trump, Don, has just exposed one of the big lies from one of the big four networks. Well, at least the other three, well, what we call the big four, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. Somebody once told me, and I never really thought about this before, but somebody once told me, never trust a network with only three letters. ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox. Now, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Ria Linda, a Fox is only three letters. F-O-X. Is it not? Well, some people could say, well, then, what about ESPN? That's not three letters. Well, no. ESPN has started to go off the liberal deep end as well. But yeah, this whole four major networks that have three letters is absolutely it has some truth to it. Let's take a quick call here. 732, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Go.
Hi, my name is Rose. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Rose?
I'm very good. I'm from New Jersey.
I'm sorry to hear that. You're not voting for Christie. Now, you are from New Jersey, and you're not voting.
I'm voting for Donald Trump. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Donald Trump is representing every single thing that is good for America. And I could tell you that. I am 54 years old. I saw when it was good. I saw when it was bad. And now I'm seeing it ugly. I don't like it. A lot of people that I know, I work in a very public sector, and a lot of people are voting for Mr. Trump. They agree with him 1,000%. A lot of the corruption, because this is what it really comes down to, this election. This election is about the American people that work every single day, that do a good job or a great job. And then we have the others that feel that they could just take some more and take some more. And if you know people, you could only take so much. So now the American people are speaking loud and clear for Donald Trump. The media is blocking it. The corporations, which right now, their forefathers would be embarrassed, the corporations. They would be embarrassed, the people that started these corporations, for who their alliances are really for. People like Donald Trump come along once in a lifetime, okay? He's sticking up for you. He's sticking up for me. He's sticking up for the people down the street. Unfortunately, we have people that came over, and let me tell you, everybody came over. I get that. But when you come over and you take a look at America and we're told we didn't build this or we didn't make this or it's not ours anymore, and you're taking companies and just bailing and going overseas, do you think the American people are going to still buy their products? I don't think so. Ford's right now, as far as I'm concerned, Ford's is an American-made company, and now you're going to take the last bit of work and give it to somebody else. That's almost like a treasonous act. Donald Trump is standing against that. He wants things made in America. He wants to stick up for American people. That's why he's doing tonight a great thing for the veterans. Those people, if we didn't, it's coming down to either having America or not having America. And he is 100% correct about that. Hillary Clinton wants to go global. Bernie Sanders wants to go global. Global, you help others, but you can't give away the storefront or you have nothing at all. And unfortunately, the people in America are feeling that pinch. And they're feeling it harder, and they're seeing it slip away and slip away. The media is lying about a lot of things because they don't care. No matter what, they have what they have already. But us, what we have is slipping like sand through our fingers. And we're trying to grasp that, and that's where Donald Trump came in. He came in, he put a little bit of a cork in there to slow it down and to change the direction. We need to sit and think about this. This is so important. It's a pivotal part in an American history. Do you want to have homes, schools, families, togetherness, as communities and developments, or do you want to sell out like every corporation? I was a part of the boycott of Macy's, and I'm very proud of it. When I heard how that transpired and now they're closing up 45th, I hope the whole thing tanks. And I'll tell you why. It's not that I'm against Macy's. I'm against whoever took over that company and decided that they weren't going to back America anymore. That's what I'm upset about. I don't know if that's Ford's and Oreo, Nabisco, and all these other Johnson & Johnson and these other companies feel that it's more important to take care of somebody else's country than America. We started it here. We need to keep the jobs here. We need to bring them back, have them come in, figure out. There's always a solution to every single problem. And instead of figuring out the solution, they build on us. And I feel like they were traitors. I absolutely 100%. And I'm telling you tonight, pay attention, America, closely to those companies, because they're not your friend. They may pretend to be. They're not Donald Trump's friend, and Donald Trump represents me. He represents every single American here.
Well, he's got a populist view. I will say that, and people are, flocking to that message just as they're flocking to, on the opposite side, the Bernie Sanders message. Now, let me ask you this: now, you're from New Jersey.
Absolutely.
You don't like Christie as president.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's very simple. That's part of the D.C. corporate, It's part of the D.C. corruption. There's a very defining, and a lot of people see this, D.C. is corrupt from the top down. And people have a nature of habit. They follow the leader. Okay?
You think
so
that
if
Christie
the leader
is part of that?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
He's your governor, you would know.
He is absolutely every single one of them. Huckabee is the least amount corrupt out of all of them, but they all have a part of it. Cruz, he might play a tough game. He's that guy that, did you ever hear the bad cop, good cop? Yeah. One person's good, mom and dad, one's good, one's bad, pinning against each other. That's how I see it. I see that they pick one that's going to be the one that's sitting there pounding somebody, but really they're in it all together. Every single last one of them. And this thing with Fox,
Rand Paul,
that's
too?
just absolutely. And to a certain extent, like I said, because he'll play their game, but you don't hear about it. They're picking and choosing the script. That's part of the problem. That's why the media needed to be in on this. The media needed to say who they wanted, just as D.C. says it, because D.C. is the one calling the shots. And I really, truly believe that. It started at the leadership, at the top. And anything, if there's going to be a corrupt head, there's going to be a corrupt body. If there's going to be a clean head, there'll be a clean body. People are creatures of followers of anything. If you take a look, that's why Even though we get pounced on with Twitter, like with Fox said about the Twitter people, that's American people. How dare they say that? But we are followers. You want to know why? Because that's the way we were built. We were always built that way. All right? So now we're following somebody that's a real leader that has guts, that will stand up to these, I don't even know what you want to call them anymore, because it is absolute garbage what's going on here in America. It's a shame. Veterans dying. You let people die. Our own people died. That's sick? That's disgusting. That's despicable. And it starts at the top, because Obama should have used his pen to stop it. No, he's too more worried about everything overseas to make sure that they're put a safe zone out there for those people. That's plenty good. And that Merkel, that German Merkel lady, I'm done with her. She's an embarrassment to women. She don't know what she's doing. And they wanted to make Hillary her twin, okay? So we're not stupid here in America, and we're not going to take it anymore. And we're not. And that's why Donald Trump is a good representation. He remembers the day when it was good in America. And people remember, and that's why they're backing him. People want to have businesses. They want to be able to go to school with no Common Core. You should be able to be smart, not to dumb children down. I know. I see it every day, every single day. So I'm fed up. America's fed up. And we're going to make this country better than it was before. And I do really believe that. I believe that we could do it. But we have to wash away the corruption. The corruption has to go. And then we all have to be the eyes and ears, the ones that want to do the right thing. But there's people out there, a lot of good people out there. And they do love America. They want to be able to have their children play out in the yard and not have to worry about this psycho crap coming over the border. I mean, you got cartel coming over the border. I was on your show. I talked to you last week. I had a girl, a neighbor, had a friend over, died of a drug overdose 100 feet from my house. And this is my neighborhood, and I protect my neighborhood. I am disgusted at that. How could you not want to stop the drugs coming over the border? New Hampshire is having the same crisis that New Jersey is having with the teenagers dying of drug overdoses.
We are.
I see it. It's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable.
But how come it's not an urgent importance? This is what I don't get. I don't get why you'll sit there and go after the police officers that defend this country day in, day out. I know a tremendous amount of police officers, and the amount that they sit there and say is corrupt is a pinhead compared to the derelicts that they're bringing in this country. And they are derelicts. When you bring drugs in here, crime in here, and the filth that's going on in Chicago, once again, we bring it back to the head, the leader. That leader that we have, he should be ashamed of himself. I do not see him going over there and helping raise them up, offering them something that nobody has offered them before. Self-respect. He hasn't even done that. That's what I'm upset about. I am very upset about it because people need somebody and something to hope for. No matter where you're at, I don't care where you're from, you need a lift up to help each other. And we have to do that. And Donald Trump gives that. He does give that. He was a creator. Anytime somebody is a creator, you'll know them by their fruits. He has 3 beautiful children, no drinking, no smoking, and no drugs. That's what we should be telling our children in America today. No, we're not doing that. We're letting them burn buildings down and act like a bunch of little, excuse my language, but jackasses. Okay? That behavior is not what America's built on. And if people don't like that, they could pack their bags and go live in one of the countries that like to accept that kind of behavior. We here do not like that. And I will stick up and I will protect and I will defend my country. I never thought me, Rose, I went and joined the NRA. Okay? I never liked guns. My whole entire life, I was a Democrat, and I hated guns. A lot of things changed when I started seeing I wasn't getting anywhere. And then I said, you know what? I could do better than this. And I did. And I started learning and teaching myself. And I did. And I pulled myself out, pulled myself up. And now I run stuff. And I'm not going to tell you where I run stuff, but I do. And I'm good at it. And I want to teach others to be good at it too. And that's what Donald Trump brings. He brings that hope that you can learn, that you can be a part of society and do something good. We all need that. We all need that. But he's going to do great tonight. I want everybody to tune into him. I want everybody to support his cause because he wants to keep people safe. He wants our police safe. He wants our vets safe. He wants things to be on a different level than we have seen in the past 20 years, which I'm all for. And I hope to God that America's going to pitch in and do their share. I hope that's what it's all about. We're a team. We are a team. It's whether you're for a team for creating something good or a team for destroying it.
So you are definitely on the Trump train.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well,
in my heart.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rod. You're fantastic. I love doing your show. I would do it anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go. Look, these Trump supporters, they're very vocal. They're very adamant about the person that they're supporting, and they're telling you why. They're telling you why somebody others are not their choice as well. Although I might say that's the first time I've actually heard of somebody saying that Cruz and Rand Paul were part of the Washington D.C. cabal and just as corrupt as the rest. Interesting take. Where are you other people to debate those accusations? Where are you? I don't hear you. Any case, here is a Wall Street Journal, and one of she brought up some points about American decline and people not wanting to do stuff, but we need to do better in certain areas. One of the things that we have to realize is that when you have a nation that doesn't own anything, you have a nation that doesn't take pride in anything. When you don't take pride in something, then all of this stuff starts to sneak in. You start to see increases in things like drug abuse. No, I understand that drug abuse happens in the inner city, it happens in the suburbs, and it's now happening out there in the country, in the rural areas. I understand that, but all three of those basic units that we use to clarify where we live are also seeing a decline in something else, a decline in personal pride. Let me give you an example. When people own their home, what do they normally do? Not everybody I know, but the vast majority of homeowners take pride in their homeowners, in their homes. They want people to see that, they're not quote unquote dirt bags, that they have some sort of pride, and they will do whatever they can within their own means to keep their home up. They will, some people will go into massive debt to try to keep their home up because there's a certain amount of personal and self-pride in that. Well, we also know that renters don't tend to have the same kind of pride as a homeowner. Why? Because they don't own it. They have no investment in it. They're not going to have to repair it and keep it up and all that kind of wonderful stuff. We're seeing a rise in renters in this country. Homeownership is at a low. It has not been this low. The rate of homeownership at 63.5% has not been this low since 1965. That should tell you something. Under Reagan, home ownership started to go up. It started to go way up. And I will say this, that under Clinton and Bush, we reached record levels of home ownership. Now under Obama, no, I just said Clinton. But it started to go, home ownership started to rise really well in the second term of Bill Clinton. And it peaked under George W. Bush at nearly 70%. And now it is breaking records again, but in the opposite direction under Obama. You have to be a nation of owners that take pride in their possessions. You cannot be a nation of renters that thinks, well, somebody else owns this, I don't have to take care of it. Speaking of not having to take care of it, the whole security issue, letting drugs and stuff in, well, you know what? I found out a way that some people might be getting their drugs across the borders. Hundreds, and this is Fox News, but hundreds of Department of Homeland Security badges, guns, and cell phones have been lost or stolen since 2012. Hundreds. And people's heads, the proverbial head roll, people's heads are not rolling on this. Hundreds. Inventory reports obtained by the news site Complete Colorado and shared with FoxNews.com show that over 1,300 badges, over 165 firearms, over 580 cell phones were lost or stolen over a 31-month span between 2012 and 2015. That's really almost thousands of items. Security items have been lost or stolen from the Department of Homeland Security. Hey, that includes who? The TSA, folks. And what do we find out? What are there, 1,300 TSA agents who are on the no-fly list? Now, some of them are mistakes, but are all of them mistakes? And none of them are being vetted. None of them are being put on leave until they get their name cleared. They're still guarding the gates. And yet the TSA is worried about groping. We've all seen that video that went viral, groping some 9 or 10-year-old girl very slowly and methodically because she might be carrying a weapon of mass destruction to bring down a jet aircraft. No wonder we're the laughing stock. And Rose is absolutely right. It starts from the top, and it works its way down. It never goes from bottom up unless there's a total and complete revolution, like France had a couple of times. Otherwise, it's always from the top down. If you have poor leadership, you're going to end up poor leadership at the top is going to end up with poor people at the bottom. That's the way it's always been in this world. That's the way it's always going to be in this world. And you can like it or not like it, but it's really important that you have good people at the top who can disseminate all that good stuff on down into the ranks until it gets to the bottom. Because if you don't do that, eventually you're going to have the bottom, which is a huge mass of people, like in France during the French Revolution. They're going to rise up, and those people at the top, who are few in number, are going to be very, very sorry. And I think Trump is proving that right now. Well, up next is, who, Rush and then Hannity. I'm Rod Eccles. Tomorrow is Freedom Friday. Just about anything goes. Until then, have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see you back here, same bat time, same bat channel. I'm Rod Eccles of The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.